Hey everyone, I'm glad you're here. Things have been kind of crazy and a bit harder to put together as my equipment is dying a quick, messy death. But we keep soldiering on. Besides, I have too much to say to let a little thing like technological death stop me. Also, this video is taking a bit longer because it's something different. And I wanted to get it as right as I can. And if that wasn't enough, I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm, so if you hear something, that's it. So let's get into it. I've thought that the Moor movement shows signs of being a cult for quite a while now. The sovereign citizens too, but to a lesser degree. The Moors, they add some things that raise it to a different level. I'm going to make my case today, and I hope you'll let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm going to try to keep it short and simple, but using the bite model, I think we'll get there. Okay, so first I should explain about Steve Hassan and his bite model. Actually, I feel like I should break into a song and dance. B, it's for behavior that I see. Forget it. I'm not going to sing. I don't want to hurt you. So, Steve Hassan wrote the book about recognizing cult practices. Literally. And since he himself was a Moonie, deprogrammed back in 1976, he knows of what he speaks. His bite model is the go-to for recognizing high pressure groups, cults to you and me. Okay, so quickly, BITE, behavior, information, thought, emotion, control. And that's what it's all about. Behavior can be anything from telling you who you can and can't talk to and date to your clothes and what you have. They want you to depend on them, and that could even mean financially, because they're going to take your money. Information is important as it's the indoctrination they need to make you see things through their skewed lens. They do this in a number of ways and will even make you question your own memory. Thought control, it's all about the us versus them mentality. You should sound like them, look like them, think like them. Even your name should be the same. Emotional is the sickest and most manipulative, and it's the hardest one to break free of, in my estimation. If they can make you afraid, you won't listen to the people trying to deprogram you. They get you by showering you with attention and affection. Love bombing is what they call it. You'll hear every positive affirmation ever. You don't want to lose that, right? So that's briefly what they are. And for more in-depth info, go to the Freedom of Mind Resource Center. Now that we're all on the same page, let's get down to it. Instead of letter by letter, I'll show you some clips and tell you, a little bit about where I think they fit. Remember now, you don't need all four, as any of these indicators are a reason to worry. Obviously, the easiest thing to show is I for information, as they put out a metric ton of bullshit every minute. Let's start with an example of how one would announce themselves and who they are. So we know.
I am Judge Light Tajiri Bay, in propria persona juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredis. I and all Moorish American nationals are both Aboriginal and indigenous to this land of North America, Asia, Amexem, ancient Morocco, the North Gate. We are the descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the Moabites and Canaanites. We are the executors, ministers, trustees, claimants, beneficiaries, and heirs to our own vast estate, which is all land, all natural resources, to include all gold, silver, oil, minerals, water, crops, and ancient finds. And we are the rightful heirs to all commercial contracts at North America, South America, Central America, and the adjoining islands. We are exercising all of our sovereign rights and benefits at this time and at all points in time. Our great prophet Noble Jew Ali was brilliant. He did indeed give us a masterfully executed example to follow to free ourselves. When he placed the Religious Corporation Affidavit of Organization 1010-5905 on the record in Chicago, This very act made us our own freestanding government at North America. The document did indeed not incorporate the Moorish temples.
Yeah, so Crazy Eyes is not only mistaking her wish list for historical evidence of territories, but has gotten really dangerous in learning a few Latin words and stringing them together to reference law she doesn't understand. But hey, it sounds official, so maybe someone will be intimidated enough by the language to believe she knows what she's talking about. And may I please ask them to turn off notifications before they start filming with their damn phone? Oh my God, it took us a decade to get them to sometimes not film in portrait. How long you guys think it's going to take us to get them to not have these things ringing in our ears? Put your guess in the comments. But there's just no actual facts to be found here. But I digress. This is how Crazy Eyes says all Moors should behave when talking to anyone with actual authority. And catch her saying she's a vet.
I'm Renula White Bay. I'm here with Judge Light Tajiri Bay, and we'll be going over the weaponized peace statement of persona jurisdiction for all Moorish American nationals.
Yes. We're very excited about it. I am Judge Light Tajiri Bay with the Moorish National Republic Federal Government and the Moorish American Consulate. And we are going to be spreading this all over our land. All Moors are to learn the statement that we're going to be using in this demonstration. And this is the only thing that we should be saying to the colonizers when we are forced into those venues. If we're not forced into those venues, we don't go. We let our paperwork speak for us. And we're going to go over the statement and show you exactly how to use it when you're in those venues. This statement is good for when you're being pulled over. You can put this statement on a 3.5 by 5 index card. You don't ever have to speak. You just take the index card and stick it up to your window. Do not let your window down when policy enforcers stop you. You just put that up to the window and let that be all that is said. Don't answer any questions. Don't talk to them. Put that statement up in your window so that they can read it, and they are not to violate that, because we are indeed a standing government on this land. Also, this statement is good for foreclosures and evictions and all of that. If they cannot get past personam jurisdiction, they can't do anything else, okay? This strategy is a military strategy. However, of course, you know, we're peaceful people, but it's a military strategy in that I used to be in the Air Force many years ago, and they always taught us that when you are captured, that you are to give your name, rank, and serial number repeatedly, no matter what question they ask you. So that's going to be our strategy, except we don't have names, we don't have ranks, and we don't have serial numbers or social security numbers. So we're going to give them our appellation, a command, and then another command, okay?
I'll save you the bad acting as she and Grandma Moses, I don't know, her sister, enact how they will commit contempt of court with their weaponized peace personam jurisdiction, whatever. She then goes on to say that this can be used from getting pulled over, and tells you how to act if you want to get your windows busted and be arrested, to foreclosures and evictions, especially if you want your stuff thrown on the sidewalk and to be arrested. If you want to waste another 12 minutes, the link's going to be in the description. The behavior control is evident in that one, but she's also doing her people a massive disservice by giving out the fraudulent info she does. The next is screenshots of a back and forth between her and an actual Native American. The nerve she has to pull this crap on someone who is legitimately indigenous is insane. She has the audacity to tell someone who is demonstrably more entitled to be here than she is that they're going to be deported if they don't declare fealty to the Moor organization choice. Another problem I hear people come on the most is the way Moors believe that our laws don't apply to them, but they seek protection under them. The very same government they claim has no jurisdiction or standing should fight for them, protecting their what? Rights? Here we see our favorite judge, empress, vizier, whatever, talking out both sides of her multifaceted.
As there's a lot of Moors with public notification pages on their website, so you can do it there. Some people posted in the newspaper their claims onto that estate as well to give everybody opportunity to rebut it. You can put it on you can put it on YouTube. You can just read it out on YouTube and then share it everywhere. There's a multitudes of ways to put it in the public forum, and the newspaper to me is so elementary at this point that I would never even waste my fiat on putting it in the paper, because Facebook is good enough, YouTube is good enough, Scribd is global, so you're putting it everywhere. And no, foreigners outside, they're not claiming property because they know it's all getting seized up by the government. And why should they pay? Think about this lawfully. Why should you pay? Think about this, y'all. Why should you pay a corporation that no longer has jurisdiction and no longer has standing to even be completing deeds on a property? Why would you pay them and they can't, and you have no claim? I'm just saying, y'all. So y'all sit here and go to these so-called sheriff sales. Y'all sit here and go to these so-called realtors. They cannot give you allodial possession of property. They can only give you hypothecation and fraud. So stop going there. I'm telling you now.
As I've stated, according to them, everyone not a Moor is illegal and has no standing. They are the true authority, the de jure government. Be one of them and you're golden. Be anything else, you're doomed. And if you're an Albion, that's a white person. You're to be sold at auction. Let's talk about the rewards of being a Moor, another factor in emotional control. What they do by telling the people, if you're a Moor, you are nobility. And it gets right to the heart of the matter. This is a group of people desperate to be special, to feel important. And then you have a guy, Noble Drew Ali, telling them they are. They're actually secretly descendants, heirs of nobility. He doesn't know you or your family, but yes, you too are descendants of royalty. Kings, queens, pharaohs, sultans, emperors and empresses, lords. If it ruled, it was your ancestor. But if everyone is nobility, nobody is, right? The quote-unquote ruling class was just that. And we don't have a feudal system, but even if there was one, who would they be ruling? That's easy. Us. Anyone not a Moor. Not only would they be in charge, we would be put on the auction block because it's such a peaceful, loving, moral thing to do, and we all saw how well it worked before. Like I said, if you're one of them, you are important. And Sharon Tracy Gale Bay is a self-appointed judge, a vizier, grand sheik, and empress, to name just a few. She's appointing sheriffs, marshals, and other officials now.
So the Sharifian, now Light wanted to add, Light Tajiri Bey, the vizier of West region, MXO, wants to add peace in the Sharifian peace officers. So it's going to be the Sharifian peace officers, and they're going to have these shirts. We're going to be walking around with these shirts, and on the back, because on the back of mine, it has Moorish American Consulate, nationalities, the order of the day, and then it has my phone number on the back. But on the back of those shirts, it's going to have Sharifian peace officers. It's going to have Sharifian peace officers. I'm compiling the information. We had several hundred individuals volunteer to be a Sharifian peace officer.
Before Sharon Tracy Gale Bay and her consort, Mr. Pitts, were arrested for risking a catastrophe, when they use Twitter, Facebook, and other social media to get their followers to show up and act as a human shield when the sheriff showed up to evict her from her house, the one that she was squatting in ever since she defaulted on a mortgage and claimed it as her right. When authorities arrived, the group got loud, and it became evident that another MOVE organization type incident could happen. And for those of us who don't remember, MOVE was another Black liberation anti-government group who held a siege in a West Philadelphia residential neighborhood. The police ended up dropping 2 bombs, leaving 11 people dead, including 5 children. So when confronted by the mob of Moors, police decided that, discretion being the better part of valor, they'd wait. They did. And when they raided the house at dawn, she told SWAT officers, "I'm making a citizen's arrest. You're all under arrest." Crazy bitch. Her sycophants raised the money to bond her out. Her consort, not as important to the cause, so he's still in jail. But Sharon announced that she dismissed her case and was out, and her followers believed it. Now that falls under both behavior and information control. She needs her people to come to her for everything from news to, daily shit. Like this girl, all of about 12 years old.
And unfortunately, it appears you're going to learn the hard way, as is Sharon, that those laws are real. Here we're moving on to the next beautiful comment that Jamira Sneed made. The person speak on this video is a fraud. She don't know what she talking about. They allowed to bear arms. We are Aboriginal Moorish American nationals. This land belonged to the nationals. The only true Americans are the Moorish nationals. Everything she, Tracy Gale Bay, said was true. Y'all need to know who the nationals are. She is out. This video is fraud. She is an agent working for the government.
Maybe because of all of her run-ins with the law, she decided to go ahead and create her own police force. I don't see this going sideways. How about you? It's not like just having a fake badge and telling people you're an officer of the law is a federal offense or anything. Wait, what? The last thing I'll bring up is information. Or misinformation, as this is their bread and butter. They have a knack for rewriting history. They also revise the present. And it's all to fit their narrative. We are special. We don't have to follow any rules. Don't trust them. And I've read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Nowhere does it say anything about this being Morocco or of land being given to them. It can be proven it's not. I mean, just look at the beginning where it says it was written. It's just all the revisionism.
Because if their first duty is to the corporate state, if their first duty is to the corporate state, this fictitious corporation, what so-called codes are they going to enforce? The ones for which they were licensed. So if I'm licensed to only know or only admit or acknowledge the Commonwealth of this fictitious corporation under the codes, statutes, and ordinances, I'm not going to speak or even think about Constitution. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. Because my first duty is to that fictitious corporation that's licensed to me. And another reason why so-called attorneys can't even be under the nobility clause of the Constitution, can hold an office. Why can't they hold office, y'all?
They cannot hold office because we didn't delegate them to have an office.
Why didn't we do it? Why do we say specifically attorneys and lawyers can never hold office in our government? Say it again? They're not trustworthy, but it's more specific. They took an oath to what? They took an oath to the bar, which is an oath to who? Right. So they took an oath to the Queen. Can they take an oath to the Constitution if they already got a predating oath to the Queen?
No.
So that's a conflict of interest, isn't it? Can they even hold an office if they breach it with that whole oath?
By the way, nope. Attorneys absolutely can and do hold public office, most senators are attorneys. She's referring to the 13th Amendment, which does say that they should not hold office, but it's when it's the type of position that can create a conflict of interest. Like, say you're on the zoning commission and you're, like a rep or something, and one of your major clients is a developer, right? Maybe she doesn't like attorneys because they see right through her and her fake liens. Yeah, she has almost 50 liens filed against various entities, as she calls them. From the lady who called the police on her to Amazon, Mercedes, and the Philadelphia police force. And when I say filed, I don't mean she's really filing them. I don't think she is. Here's a couple of reasons why. She quotes the Universal Commercial Code. That's not a thing. It's the Uniform Commercial Code. And it's a felony to file false liens. So if she had filed as many as she has, somebody would have noticed and she'd be back in prison. Virgo's done a great video about this. I'll put the link in the description, of course. She believes, and I agree, that she sends something, probably blank papers, so that she can get the receipt from registered mail, to show her followers so they believe her bullshit. If you'd like to take a look at her insanity, I'll put a link to her Scribed account below. You can look at all the liens. I end with a question. Are there ex-Moors? Is leaving the Moor movement as perilous as leaving, say, Scientology or the LDS? Not that it would tip the scales, as one of the ways cults hide that they are a cult is by saying, hey, people can and have left us. We can't be a cult. But ex-Moors aren't even spoken of. So do they exist? So in closing, I want to remind you that even one of the indicators could be proof it's a cult. It's a red flag at least. And I believe that even with as quick and cursory a look as I gave you, it shows a bunch of signs. Don't forget the script they run through whenever they're approached by cops, their claims that this is Morocco, and the fact that they're considered a domestic terrorist organization. I see a lot of red flags. Do you? So yeah, this was a marathon, and I hope you crossed the finish line. If you did, what do you think is the worst thing? Or did you find something positive? What was the biggest red flag that you saw? And did I make my case? Now, I really need to thank my patrons. You really helped me more than you know. And I'm extremely excited about our first Patreon-only voice chat coming next week. If you'd like to get in on that and support the channel, please check out the link in the description. Remember, hit that thumbs up as hard as you see fit. And sub if you're new. And please share, because sharing is caring. And as always,